Okay, again, kind of thinking about this, like, he's 30, we're 17. It's already a little bit weird that he's kind of pursuing us like this. You know, there's a bunch of girls in Mallorca in the summer, like, what does he care about us? So, and he's like, oh, I'll send you a selfie, babe. So I'm like, okay, so I'm either gonna get a dick pic or he's really gonna send me a picture of what he's doing. You will not guess what this boy did. I feel like a dick pic would be better than what he did. Make a girl go crazy. 3, 2, oh. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to this week's video. Today I have another Fellow Friday video for you guys. Fellow Friday is the series on my channel where I talk about a different boy or fella every Friday that I've experienced in my dating life. And today's boy, like you can see in the title, is the man child. So this is more of a like story time, funny story than really a guy I dated. I never really dated this guy, but I thought it was kind of funny and I could tell you guys my experiences with a man child. So for this story, we got to go all the way back to, let me think, May 2015. So I was a junior in high school at the time and we went on a school trip. Basically in our high school, in your junior and senior year, you could pick school trips. Maybe even in your sophomore year, I'm not entirely sure, but at least in your junior and senior year, you could pick school trips from like a bunch of lists, and these school trips were crazy. So you could go diving in Malta, you could go on like art courses in Greece. The course or trip that I ended up doing was yoga in Mallorca. So we stayed in Cala d'Or in Mallorca, super beautiful hotel, and we did a little bit of yoga each day, and then the rest of the day we could we went on excursions, we went on hikes, we got to do our own thing around the city. It was honestly a really, really great trip. So I went with one of my friends at the time, and me and her, we knew a couple of other people on the trip, but not really like that many. So at a certain point, I think on the second or third night that we were there, we were kind of like, oh, you know, this like small part of Mallorca is pretty cute. There's a couple bars, we should go out. So we were kind of like, okay, you know, we were like not allowed to go out. Like you could get kicked out of school, expelled or suspended for going out. So I'm sorry, any of my teachers, I don't think they'd be watching this, but we did decide to sneak out and go out, which I 100%, if your school has strict rules against this, I do not recommend. Every time I was like shitting bricks. I was so nervous to do this, but I don't know, she was a lot more rebellious than I was, and I don't know, I wanted to go out as well, so we did. So the way we did it was we kind of had this like really cool plan, we thought at the time. So we had our pajamas on and we had a little like backpack that we had with our clothes, like our going out clothes. So what we did is we had a room facing the street. So we dropped the backpack out of the window so that it would land in the bushes like right by the street. We went out of our room in our pajamas and we were like, oh, if there's any teachers sitting in the lobby, because we knew the teacher stayed in the lobby for some time, we can just like say that we couldn't sleep, that we wanted to grab some water, that we were in our pajamas going to the lobby to get like a bottle of water or something. We thought it was the perfect plan. So it works, we go down to the lobby, there's no teachers, we go to the bushes and we find our street clothes, or our going out clothes in like the street. So quickly in the bushes we're getting changed, and I was wearing this top that had a really low back, and I wasn't wearing a bra with it. So it was just like a halter top with a low back, and it was kind of like this. It was tied in the front. It had like a little kind of like button. And as I was putting on the top, like quickly in the street, trying to get away from the hotel, trying to get away from the teachers, you'll guess it, the top broke. So literally my whole top was kind of open and I had to hold it together to not be flashing everyone. This might seem like an off-topic point right now, but it'll factor into the story later, trust me. So we go to this first bar and we suddenly run into like 5 people that were also on the school trip. So we were like, okay, we're not the only ones. So at a certain point, we decided to hit another bar in the small town of Cala d'Or. And we go to this bar and suddenly I hear a bunch of Dutch. And the bar is called Time Out. Shout out to you guys. And we are there and I'm like, this is so weird. So I asked one of the people behind the bar, I'm like, are you Dutch? Like, is everyone here Dutch? And he's like, yeah, it's like a Dutch bar on Mallorca. So, you know, it was like, oh, okay, cool. So this bar guy, I'm kind of looking at him and I'm like, oh, he's pretty cute. Like, I'm 17 at the time. He's like working behind the bar. He seems older. So he like asked me like, why are you holding your shirt like that? Because me, like the whole night I'm holding my shirt like this because otherwise I'm flashing my tits at everyone. So I tell him, I'm like, broke my shirt, otherwise, you know, I'm gonna flash everyone. So he just starts laughing like crazy and he like disappears behind the bar. So I was like, fuck you, this guy is just like laughing at me. And he goes behind the bar, comes back, and he has a bobby pin for me. So he has this little bobby pin, and he comes over like my knight in shining armor and like pins his this bobby pin onto my shirt so that I'm not flashing everyone. So I like hug him. I'm like, thank you, good sir. Thank you for saving me. So we're talking in Dutch. We're hitting it off. My friend is with us as well, and he's like giving us shots. He's giving us drinks on the house, and I was like, wow, this guy is so cool, like, you know, this bartender, love it. And basically the next day he was like, I have off, I'm going to the beach, will you girls come with me to the beach? And we were like, we don't know, like, you know, it kind of depends if our teachers like let us have free time. So he's like, teachers, how old are you guys? So we're like, fuck, we messed up because drinking age of Spain is 18. We both, I think, had fake IDs. I definitely did, I don't know if she did, but we were kind of like, shit, we shouldn't have said that. But we were kind of vibing with this guy, so we're both like, yeah, we're 17. He's like, holy shit, you're 17, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, like, how old are you? Like, I thought this guy was maybe like 22, 23, maybe like summer job working in Mallorca. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm 30. And I was like, 30? What the hell? Oh my God. He like did not look 30. He was wearing like a baseball cap, like very boyish still. But you know, I'm like, I'm kind of into it. And he's like, oh, okay, well, you know, like, you should really try to find me on this beach tomorrow. I'm gonna be there. So we end up leaving. We don't exchange numbers, we don't kiss, but we were definitely like vibing. And so I thought like he had, you know, a summer job there and was just like working there for a little bit. I'll explain why that's important later. So basically the next day we go to that beach, we try to find him when we have free time, but we only had like 1 hour of free time. We couldn't find this guy. It was like really sad. We went by the bar later when we were like in the city on our way to dinner. Me and like my friend trying to find him, and the bar was closed, and suddenly like 2 girls from our school trip come up to us and they're like, hey, do you know, let's think of a name for the bartender. I can only think of his real name right now. Do you know Blake from Time Out Bar? So we were both like, no, we don't like Blake. And then we're like, oh, that's the bartender. And they're like, yeah, we ran into him on the beach today, and he like saw that we were from like the school trip, and he said like, oh, if you see Lois and my friend, tell them like that they should come out tonight, like, you know, I want to like see them again. So we were like, okay, cool. So we automatically felt like, okay, he wants to see us again. Like, this is so cool, you know, this bartender. So at a certain point, again, kind of thinking about this, like, he's 30, we're 17. It's already a little bit weird that he's kind of pursuing us like this. You know, there's a bunch of girls in Mallorca in the summer, like, what does he care about us? So now thinking back, it's already a little bit weird. So the next night, we're like getting ready to go out, and we just like hear a bunch of commotion in the halls, and we're like, of the hotel, and we're like, something just did not feel right. Something was like, we are not meant to go out tonight. Me and my friend decide we're not gonna go out. So we end up not going out, and 2 guys on our school trip did end up going out and got caught by teachers. They actually got suspended and were going to get expelled. They ended up not getting expelled, but it was a big drama, so we were both so happy that we didn't go out. But that was the last night that we had in Mallorca, so we were like, shit, we didn't see our bartender Blake again. So the next day, what I decide to do is I walk by the Time Out Bar. I write a note saying, hey Blake, it was so nice to meet you. I read it in Dutch because he was Dutch as well. I was like, it was so nice to meet you. If we're ever in Holland at the same time, like, here's my number. Let's like meet up or something. I wrote something like that, and I placed it under, like, halfway under the door of the Time Out Bar. And I get back to Switzerland, where I was living at the time, and I think a couple days pass, and I get a text, and it's like, hey, it's Blake from the bar. And I was like, oh my God, that is like so cool. Like, he's texting me. So we're texting, we're getting to know each other, and I'm like, so like, until when are you in Mallorca? Like, you know, just like, are you there just for summer? Like this and that. And he's like, oh no, you know, I live there. I'm like, you live there? He's like, yeah, no, I mean, I started this job when I was 22 years old, out of college, for a summer, and I liked it so much I made this my career. Which I was kind of like, okay, so cool, like, if that's your life goal, hey, I'm not here to judge, good for you. But I kind of felt like, okay, cool. And he's like, yeah, and the best part is like meeting people like you and this and that. And I don't know, it already kind of felt like a little bit weird, like that he was older and like really trying to, you know, get with me, even though, I don't know, it was just like already kind of a weird vibe. But the reason why he was a real like man child was because he was so immature. So at a certain point I'm like, oh, what are you up to right now? And he's like, oh, I'll send you a selfie, babe. So I'm like, okay, so I'm either gonna get a dick pic or he's really gonna send me a picture of what he's doing. You will not guess what this boy did. I feel like a dick pic would be better than what he did. He sends me a selfie, like arm raised, selfie, him looking up, of him no pants on, shitting on the toilet. Not just sitting, like he literally wrote just shitting right now. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you trying to like impress me or trying to gross me out? Because the impressing part really didn't work. The grossing out definitely did. But it's like so immature. Like that's what a boy who's maybe like 12 or 14 would maybe send to a girl. But like the fact that you're 30, you're still working at a bar that you worked at one summer when you were 22 years old. You're wearing like this backwards baseball hat, hitting on 17-year-old girls, and then like sending them pictures of you like on the toilet laughing your ass off. I think like after that I just like stopped replying to him because I was so turned off by the fact that he was like such a man child. And who knows, if you go to Mallorca and go to that bar, maybe he's still working there. I think so. And it was funny because when we were at that bar, there was like one white-haired like really old guy, and we were kind of like, who is that? And he's like, oh, he's been here for like 30 years. And I was like, Blake, that's gonna be you in like 20 years. You're gonna be like the guy who's been working here for 30 years. So yeah, that was just a fun story about like a big old man child that I, you know, saw in my dating or going out life. I mean, I guess some people might be into it, but a guy who's literally sending me pictures of him shitting, no. And a guy that's like, I don't know, I'm really attracted to ambition, so a guy who has like no ambition and just kind of like doesn't know what he wants with his life and spends his summer chasing around 17-year-old girls when you're 30, not my type. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Fella Friday. It was a little bit more fun and lighthearted. I'll be back with a serious one next week. I like kind of like mixing it up between the two because I don't want to just tell you all my heartbreak and cheating stories right away. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, and I will see you guys next week with a new video. Bye!